The palace of the Dragon Queen floated above the red clouds of Dracoria, silent and powerful. Golden towers curved like dragon horns, and ancient fire runes glowed on every wall. Inside the palace, thousands of dragon guards stood alert, because today was not an ordinary day. The Dragon Queen was preparing to leave. She stood tall in the main hall, her wings folded, her crown glowing with ancient power. Her 3 newborn triplets were sleeping in the royal nursery, the most protected room in the palace. These children were not normal dragon babies. Each one carried a rare power that could one day shake the galaxy. Before leaving, the queen gave one final order. "No one enters the nursery," she said, her voice calm but heavy with warning. Not guards, not nobles, not servants, no one. Every dragon bowed. They understood. The nursery was forbidden. Then the queen left the palace, flying toward an emergency meeting with the Galactic Council. The moment she disappeared into the clouds, the palace felt colder, quieter, as if the fire itself was holding its breath. Minutes passed. Everything was normal. Then something went wrong. Deep inside the palace, a small light flickered. One of the ancient defense crystals dimmed. For half a second, no alarm rang. No guard noticed. But the nursery doors unlocked silently. Inside the forbidden room, soft blue light filled the air. The dragon triplets stirred in their golden cradles. One opened its eyes and made a low sound, not of fear, but of calling outside the palace halls. A human janitor pushed a small cleaning cart. He was thin, quiet, and wore simple gray clothes. Dragons ignored him every day. To them, humans were weak, short-lived, and unimportant. This one cleaned floors, wiped walls, and stayed invisible. But suddenly, the human stopped. He felt something. A strange pull in his chest. A feeling he had not felt in years. Fear mixed with responsibility. The human turned toward the forbidden's hallway. He knew the rule. Everyone knew it. But the feeling grew stronger, like a voice without sound. The guards at the hallway entrance felt something strange too. A wave of calm passed through them. Their eyes blinked. For a moment, they forgot why they were standing there. The human walked past them, step by step. He moved toward the royal nursery. Inside the palace control room, a young dragon officer looked up at a screen. His eyes widened. "There is movement." "In the nursery," he said slowly. The room fell silent. "That's impossible," another officer said. "No one can enter." The screen zoomed in. A small figure stood near the cradles. A human. Panic exploded. A human is inside the forbidden's room. Guards rushed through halls. Weapons powered on. Fire magic burned bright. Alarms finally screamed across the palace. Inside the nursery, the human knelt slowly. He did not touch the cradles. He did not reach for the children. He simply sat on the floor and waited. The triplets stopped crying. One baby crawled out and climbed onto his knee. Another grabbed his sleeve. The third fell asleep near his foot. The human stayed still. He breathed slowly. He showed no fear. Outside, elite dragon soldiers arrived and surrounded the door. Their leader raised his claw. "A human near the royal heirs," he growled. "Prepare to burn him." They opened the doors. Fire filled their throats. Then they froze. The dragon triplets were laughing. The human was smiling softly, not proud, not scared. Just calm. The soldiers felt something they had never felt before. Fear. Not fear of fire or claws. Fear of the unknown. How is this possible? One guard whispered. The human looked up at them. Eyes steady. He said nothing. Far away, across the sky, the Dragon Queen suddenly stopped mid-flight. Her heart burned. Her children were in danger, and she turned back toward the palace. Faster than fire. The forbidden's room was no longer safe, and the truth about humans was about to shake the dragon empire. The palace shook with tension as dragon soldiers filled the corridor outside the nursery. Their armor glowed red, heat rising from their scales. Fire magic gathered in their throats, ready to strike. No one spoke loudly. Even the air felt afraid. Inside the forbidden room, the human janitor remained on the floor. He had not moved since. The doors opened. His hands rested on his knees. His breathing was slow and steady. The dragon triplet stayed close to him, as if the room itself had chosen his side. The soldiers did not understand what they were seeing. Dragon children were born from fire. Even adults feared them. A newborn dragon could burn steel without trying. Yet here they were, calm, quiet, and smiling beside a human. "Step away from the heirs," the captain ordered, his voice shaking slightly. The human looked at him. His eyes showed no anger, no challenge. "I will not," the human said softly. The Kofi, the young God's eyes showed no anger, no challenge. Words shocked the room. No one ever refused a dragon guard, especially not a human. The captain's claws dug into the floor. "You dare speak back?" The human slowly stood up, careful not to scare the children. One baby held his leg. Another rested against his back. The third watched the soldiers with curious eyes. "I am not here to harm them," the human said. "They called me." "That is impossible," another soldier said. "Dragon heirs do not call humans." The human shook his head. "They don't call with sound." The guards felt a strange pressure in their minds. Images flashed: fear, loneliness, confusion. For a moment, they felt small, like children lost. In darkness, the human stepped forward, placing himself between the soldiers and the triplets. "If you attack," he said calmly, "they will cry. And if they cry, this palace will burn." The soldiers froze. He was right. A baby dragon's fear could destroy cities. Sweat formed under their armor. They had come ready to kill, but now they did not know what to do. In the control room, nobles argued loudly. "Kill the human now." "No, wait for the queen. He is controlling them." "No human can do this." The cameras showed the truth again and again. The human did not command. He did not touch. He only stayed close. Minutes passed like hours. Then, something changed. Palace lights flickered. A deep hum echoed through the walls. A reactor. Warning flashed red. Energy surge in the lower core. A technician shouted. The palace trembled. Cracks appeared in the ceiling. Fire alarms screamed louder. The soldiers panicked. "If the core explodes," one guard said, "the nursery will collapse." The human reacted instantly. He turned, lifted the smallest triplet, and wrapped his body around it. The other two pressed close without fear. "Follow me," the human ordered. The soldiers hesitated. Then another tremor hit. They followed. The human moved fast, guiding them away from the weak wall, toward a support pillar. He knew the palace layout better than most guards. He cleaned these halls every day. A blast of energy ripped through the nursery ceiling. Stones fell. Fire burst outward. The human shielded the children with his back. Pain burned through him, but he did not scream. The babies cried once. Then the human began to hum. It was a simple sound. Low, steady. The crying stopped. The energy surge faded. Smoke filled the room. When it cleared, the soldiers saw the human kneeling, bleeding, still holding the dragon heirs. He was hurt, but the children were safe. Silence filled the nursery. The captain lowered his claws. "What are you?" he asked quietly. The human looked tired, but his voice stayed calm. "I am human," he said. "And humans protect the weak." Far above the palace, the dragon queen broke through the clouds, her roar shaking the sky. She was coming home, and this time she would not come as a ruler, she would come as a mother. The sky above the palace split open with thunder. A massive shadow crossed the red clouds, wings beating like war drums. Fire rolled through the air as the dragon queen returned, faster than any guard had ever seen. Her rage burned across the Horizon, felt by every living being inside the palace. She landed with an earth-shaking force. The palace gates shattered. Columns cracked. Dragons fell to their knees as the queen walked forward, eyes glowing, fire leaking from her breath. "Where are my children?" she roared. No one answered fast enough. She did not wait. The Dragon Queen stormed through the halls, tearing through doors, ignoring guards and nobles. Every step she took was powered by one fear only a mother could feel. Her bond with the triplets screamed danger and pain. She felt blood. Human blood. Her fury became fire. The nursery doors stood broken. Smoke drifted into the hallway. The queen entered, ready to destroy everything inside. Then she saw him. The human janitor was on one knee. His back was burned. Blood stained his simple gray clothes. Yet he stood between her and the cradles, and her children were alive. The triplets rushed past him, flying unsteady but fast, crying not in fear, but in relief. They wrapped around her neck and wings, pressing their small bodies into her scales. The queen froze. Her fire died in her throat. She looked down at the human again. Her instincts screamed to kill him. Every story she knew said humans were dangerous, clever liars, silent killers. But the truth stood bleeding in front of her. He bowed his head. "I protected them," he said quietly. The room went silent. Dragon guards rushed in behind her, weapons raised, waiting for her command. One word from her, and the human would be ash. The queen studied the scene. Broken walls, burn marks on the human's back. Her children calm, safe, clinging to her. She reached into their minds. She felt fear, not of the human. Fear of being alone. Fear of burning the palace. Fear that someone would not come. Then she felt something else. Comfort, warmth, trust. It came from the human. Her claws slowly lowered. "You," she said, voice cold but controlled. "Explain why you were in the forbidden room." The human lifted his eyes. There was pain in them, but no fear. "The defense crystals failed," he said. "They felt it. They called. I answered." "That is impossible," a noble shouted. "Dragon heirs cannot bond with humans." The queen raised one claw. Silence returned. She stepped closer to the human. Heat rolled from her scales. One breath could end him. "Why did you not run?" she asked. The human swallowed. "Because children should not be alone when they are afraid." The words struck harder than fire. The queen remembered her own childhood. Stone halls, power, no comfort. She looked at her triplets again. One reached toward the human. Making a small sound, the queen blocked the child gently with her wing. "Do not touch him," she said softly. The human lowered his gaze again. The guards waited for judgment. Instead, the queen did something no dragon had seen before. She sat down. Her massive body settled onto the cracked floor. Her wings folded. Her fire cooled. "Remove the guards," she ordered. Shock spread through the room. "But your majesty," the captain began. "Now." The guards left. Only the queen, the human, and the dragon triplets remained. She looked at the human with new eyes. "You are not a janitor," she said. The human hesitated. "I clean floors," he replied. "That is true." "That is not all," she said. The silence stretched. Outside. The palace waited. Inside. A truth older than lies was about to rise. And the dragon queen realized something terrifying. If this human was telling the truth, then the galaxy had been lying about humanity all along. The Dragon Queen watched the human in silence. The nursery was quiet now. Smoke drifted slowly toward the broken ceiling. The triplets rested behind her wings, safe, curious, listening. The human stood still, injured, but strong in his posture. "You say they called you," the queen said at last. "Explain how." The human took a slow breath. "Humans listen," he said. "Not with ears only, with mind and heart." The queen narrowed her eyes. That is not an answer. It is the only one I have, the human replied. She studied him closely. His clothes were simple. His hands were rough from work. His body showed no sign of power armor, no weapons, no hidden technology. Yet her children trusted him more than her guards. She reached into his mind. What she found shocked her. There was discipline, control, deep training built over years. Not of war, but of restraint, fear management, emotional balance, patience under pressure. These were not the thoughts of a servant. You were trained, the queen said slowly. Yes. The human answered. For what purpose? She asked. To protect, he said, not to rule. The queen felt something twist inside her chest. Dragons ruled through fear and strength. That was the way of the galaxy. But this human spoke of protection, not power. Who trained you? She demanded. The human hesitated. Answer, she said. Fire flickering along her scales. The human guardian program. He said finally. The queen froze. That name was forbidden. Old records spoke of it in whispers. A secret human project erased from the galactic archives long ago. You are lying, she said. The human shook his head. Humans learned long ago that the galaxy fears what it does not understand. So we stopped trying to lead. We watched instead. She felt the truth in his mind, calm, honest, no deception. You hide as janitors? She asked with disbelief. We hide as whatever we must, the human said. Teachers, medics, workers, cleaners. To spy? She snapped. No, he said. To protect children when systems fail. The queen looked at the broken walls. The defense crystals had failed. Ancient dragon technology, thought to be perfect. And if you had not been here? She asked. The human looked at the triplets. They would have burned the palace, he said softly. Out of fear. The queen knew he was right. Her children were powerful beyond measure. Fear alone could have destroyed everything she built. Her claws tightened. You broke my law, she said. I could still kill you. I know, the human replied. Then why are you not afraid? The human met her eyes. Because fear does. Not protect children, he said. Presence does. The words hit her harder than any weapon. She remembered her own childhood again. Surrounded by guards, but always alone. One of the triplets stepped forward, tugging at her wing. The child pointed at the human and made a small sound of concern. The child pointed at the human and made a small sound of concern, and made a small sound of concern. Queen felt it. Her child was worried about him. She turned back to the human. You are hurt. Yes, he said simply. Why did you not heal yourself? She asked. I am human, he said. We endure first. Heal later. Silence filled the room. The queen stood slowly and moved toward him. The heat from her body made the air shake. She raised one claw. The human did not move. She placed the claw on his shoulder gently. A gasp escaped the watching nobles outside the doorway. You will not leave this palace, she said. The human nodded. I never planned to. You will not hide anymore, she continued. Not from me. He looked surprised. You will stand before my court, she said. And you will speak the truth. The human bowed deeply. As you command, he said. The dragon queen turned to her children, wrapping them in her wings. For the first time since their birth, she felt peace, because she now understood something dangerous and powerful. Humanity did not conquer through fire. Humanity survived through care. And that made them far more dangerous to the galaxy than anyone had ever admitted. The court of the Dragon Queen gathered in silence. The great hall was filled with dragon nobles, commanders, scholars, and elders. Firelight reflected from golden walls. Whispers moved like smoke. At the center of the hall stood the human. No chains. No cage. That alone shocked everyone. The Dragon Queen sat on her throne, wings folded, eyes sharp. The triplets rested beside her, watching the human closely. One of them held a small piece of the human's torn sleeve. Begin, the queen said. The human stepped forward. His wounds were treated, but pain still lived in his body. He did not hide it. He stood straight. My name does not matter, he said. What I am matters, a dragon elder snorted. You are human. Yes, the human replied, and humans adapt. The queen raised a claw, silencing the elder. Tell us about this Guardian program, she said. The human nodded. Long ago, humans learned something, he began. The galaxy measures power wrong. Bigger claws, stronger fire, louder weapons, but children do not survive by fear. Murmurs spread through the hall. We watched empires fall, the human continued. Because no one stayed when systems failed. No one stayed calm when children cried. A dragon commander leaned forward. You expect us to believe humans trained themselves to comfort? Yes, the human said simply. Laughter broke out. The queen did not laugh. How many of you, the human asked quietly, have held a child during a reactor failure? The hall went still. How many of you, he continued, have felt a newborn dragon's fear without answering it with force? No one spoke. The human took a slow breath. Humans evolved on death worlds, he said. Predators everywhere, storms, earthquakes, fire, ice. Our children survived because someone stayed. Someone held them. Someone taught them not to panic. Dragon scholar hissed. This is weakness. No, the human replied. This is control. The queen felt the truth echo in her chest. She stood. Enough words, she said. Power must be proven. Excitement spread. This was the dragon way. She turned to the guards. Prepare the trial chamber. Shock rippled through the hall. The trial chamber? A noble asked. But that is a place of fear, the queen finished. Let us see how humans face it. Minutes later, the humans stood inside the chamber. The doors sealed. Darkness fell. Inside the chamber, illusions activated. Firestorms roared. Screams echoed. The ground shook. Images of collapsing cities filled the air. Fear magic pressed hard against the mind. Dragon trials were designed to break will. The court watched through crystal screens. At first, the human closed his eyes. Some nobles smiled. He will break. But then the human did something strange. He sat down. He slowed his breathing. He placed his hand on the ground. The fear magic pushed harder. The human whispered softly, lullaby. Simple, old, human. The illusions flickered. The fear weakened. The chamber shook violently. Suddenly, the triplets cried out from the throne. The queen stood instantly. Stop the trial, she commanded. The doors opened. The human remained seated, calm, unharmed. The fear chamber had failed. Gasps filled the hall. That chamber broke dragon warriors. A noble whispered. How did a human? He did not fight it, the queen said. He endured it. She walked down from her throne and stood before the human. Kneel, she said. The hall held its breath. The human knelt. Not in fear, in respect. You proved your truth, the dragon queen said loudly. Humans do not rule through terror. They master it. She turned to her court. The galaxy erased this, she said, because it was afraid. She looked back at the human, and I was wrong. Silence fell like a heavy crown. The dragon queen raised her voice. From this moment, she declared, this human is under my protection. The hall exploded in shock. The triplets cheered. And somewhere beyond the palace walls, the galaxy began to change. The palace did not sleep that night. News of the trial spread through every tower, every guard post, every noble home. Dragons whispered. In disbelief, a human had entered the fear chamber and walked out unchanged. Worse for some, the dragon queen had protected him. In the highest archive room, the queen stood alone. Ancient crystals floated around her, projecting forgotten records. She had ordered the royal historians to unlock sealed data. files older than most dragon bloodlines. Files marked forbiddance by the Galactic Council. She watched in silence. Images appeared of early humans, small, fragile, surrounded by danger. But they did not flee. They built. They adapted. They survived. More records followed. Human colonies on death worlds. Human medics calming alien children during wars. Human engineers staying behind when evacuation orders were given, just to make sure others escaped. Then came the erased part, a council vote. Humans are too unpredictable. Humans form bonds too easily. Humans influence loyalty beyond control. The final order echoed through the archive. Remove humanity from the power records. Allow them to exist only as labor and servants. The Queen's claws dug into the stone floor. They were afraid. She whispered, not afraid of weapons, afraid of what humans represented. At the same time, deep inside the palace, the humans sat in a quiet chamber under guard, not a prison, a guest room. Still, dragon soldiers stood outside. He cleaned his wounds himself, slowly, carefully. Pain was familiar to him. Silence was not. A knock came. The door opened. The Dragon Queen entered alone. The guards stepped back. You should be resting, she said. So should you, the human replied. She studied him. You speak too freely. You asked for truth. He said, truth is not polite. She almost smiled. She sat across from him, her massive form careful in the small room. The Galactic Council lied, she said. The human nodded. They always do, you knew? She asked. Yes, he replied. They erased us because we could not be controlled. The Queen felt anger rise again. They used my people to help spread those lies. They used fear, the human said. Fear is cheap. Silence filled the room. You were never meant to be a janitor, she said. I chose it, he answered. It keeps me close to places where systems fail. She looked at him sharply. You expected this to happen. Not exactly, he said. But children always sense cracks before adults do. The Queen thought of her triplets calling out, not with sound, but with emotion. They trusted you, she said quietly. Yes, the human replied. Because I listened. Her voice dropped. My guards are strong. My nobles are loyal. Yet, my children reached for you. Strength does not calm fear, he said. Presence does. The words stayed with her. She stood slowly. Tomorrow, she said, the Galactic Council will arrive. They will demand explanations. The human met her gaze. They will demand silence. They will not get it, she said firmly. He raised an eyebrow. You will challenge them? I will expose them, the Queen replied. With proof, the human nodded once. Then they will panic. Good, she said. Let them. She turned to leave, then paused. Why did you stay? She asked without looking back. When you could have escaped. The human answered without hesitation. Because your children needed someone who would not leave. The Queen closed her eyes. For the first time, she understood the danger humanity truly posed to the galaxy. Not conquest, not rebellion, but loyalty. Earned without force. As dawn approached, the palace prepared for judgment, and somewhere far away, the Galactic Council felt a chill they could not explain, because the lie they built was about to collapse. The Galactic Council chamber was silent. Dozens of alien leaders floated, stood, or sat in their places, surrounded by glowing symbols of power. Screens showed the Dragon Palace, repaired but changed. At the center of the chamber stood the Dragon Queen. Beside her stood the human. Not behind her, not below her. Beside her. That alone made the council uneasy. You have broken protocol, the council speaker said coldly. A human has no place in matters of galactic rule. The Dragon Queen did not raise her voice. You erased truth, she said. And today I return it. She gestured with her wing. The chamber screens lit up. Records played. Hidden files. Votes, orders, proof of how humanity was removed from history, pushed into low roles, watched but never trusted. Gasps spread across the chamber. "This is classified," the speaker said quickly. "This is criminal," the Queen replied. The human stepped forward. "You feared us," he said calmly. "Not because we were strong. Because we stayed." The council members shifted. "You survived dragons, void storms, death worlds," one alien hissed. "Why hide?" The human looked around the chamber. "Because when we tried to lead," he said, "you followed out of fear. And fear always turns into hate." The Dragon Queen felt the truth of it. "You placed humans as servants," she said. "Janitors, medics, workers, close to your children, your systems, your weaknesses." The speaker sneered. "They were harmless." The human met his eyes. "We were watching," he said, "learning, waiting." "Waiting for what?" another council member demanded. "For the moment someone listened," the human answered. A soft sound echoed in the chamber. The Dragon Queen's triplets appeared on screen, sitting safely in the nursery. One laughed, another waved. The third hugged a small human-made toy. "My children chose," the Queen said. "They trusted a human when your systems failed." Silence fell. "You taught the galaxy to fear humans," she continued. "But fear did not save my heirs. Humanity did." The speaker stood. "This changes nothing. Power decides history." The Dragon Queen spread her wings fully. "Then history changes today." Energy surged through the chamber. Dragon fleets appeared on the screens. Not attacking. Standing guard. Other signals followed. Human ships. Not warships. Rescue ships. Medical ships. Support fleets. They did not threaten. They waited. The speaker's voice cracked. "You would side with them?" "I already have," the Dragon Queen said. She turned to the human. "Kneel," she said. The council gasped. The human hesitated. "I do not kneel to be above others." "I know," she said softly. "Kneel so the galaxy understands." The human knelt. The Dragon Queen lowered her massive head. She bowed. The chamber erupted. "A Dragon Queen bowing to a human. By my fire and blood," she declared. "I name humanity protectors of the innocent, guardians of the young, and equals among the stars." The triplets cheered on the screen. The human stood slowly. "We do not want your throne," he said to the council. "We want your children to live." The council broke. Some leaders left in silence. Others watched in fear. A few bowed. The age of lies ended. Later, back in the palace, the human walked the halls again. He wore the same simple clothes. He still cleaned floors. But now, dragons greeted him with respect. The triplets ran to him, laughing, calling him uncle. In their soft voices, the Dragon Queen watched from a distance. "You could rule," she said quietly. The human smiled. "Someone has to stay when others leave," he replied. She nodded, understanding at last. Across the galaxy, a new truth spread. Humans were not conquerors. They were not gods. They were something far more dangerous. They stayed, and the galaxy would never be the same again.